Middle Engine is the Thomas and Friends episode, which appeared in Season 6, Episode 14. Yeah, okay, so this episode is about, none of the engines like to be in the middle of the train, so Ari and Bert enjoy putting steam engines in the middle. This causes trouble for Percy, but James is convinced that he can outsmart the diesels. So that's according to IMDb, and according to Google, when shunting for Percy at the smelter yard, Harry and Bert put him in the middle again. Well, that episode was taking place on October 3rd, 2002. So yeah, I feel every train's pain who had to deal with that bullshit. So according to BellHill Mayor, it's a massive torture episode out of Percy and James, and Ari and Bert was at their worst in the episode of the Fat Controller, or Sir Topham Hatt in that episode was so out of character. Well, I guess we're gonna have to take a good look at this shit to see how fucked up and hellish and assy this episode was. Alright, one fucking day, Percy is collecting coal trucks from the smelter's yard to take the coaling to the coaling plant. But Ari and Bert place another line of trucks in front of him, much to the anger of both Percy and his driver. Uh-oh, talk about a fucked up risk of anger-inducing bullshit right here. Since he is stuck between two lines of trucks, he has no choice but to go slowly. Wow, talking about wasting time with this motherfucker. But how can you blame Percy and the driver? Okay, on the way, he passes James, who teases him for his situation, much to his annoyance. Okay, teasing someone is one thing, but doing that over and over again 24/7 is just fucked up. Okay, upon arriving at the coaling plant, he shunts the trucks in front of him onto the coal tipper so that the coal can be dumped. Hopefully right on time in this one. Okay, what's next is that Percy knows that it is against the rules for an engine to go onto the coal tipper until it has been turned off. Not when his crew leave. Not when his crew leave? Okay. Henry arrives to collect the coal trucks behind Percy, and due to not noticing him, he mistakenly bumps Percy onto the coal tipper in process, resulting in Percy being lifted up with some of his coal being dumped out and then brought back down. Uh-oh, looks like we have a major situation in this son of a bitch. The yard manager is cross with Percy for this and reports the incident to the Sir Topham Hatt. Yeah, I'd rather say Sir Topham Hatt rather than Fat Controller, because it sounds insulting thanks to Boris the pencil neck cockroach television head, that fucking racist red-teeth white supremacist bitch. Okay, at Tidmouth Sheds that night, Sir Topham Hatt scolds Percy for going on to the coal tipper. Oh, come on. Percy was doing his job, does he? Well, Percy attempts to explain that it was the result of Ari and Bert's trick, but nonetheless, Sir Topham Hatt restricts him to shunting in the yard as a punishment for his recklessness, until he gets to the bottom of the situation. Uh-oh. Okay, now this just reminds me of Percy getting framed by Pencilneck of doing graffitis on the fucking wall in Pencilneck for Hire episode 83, but worse, believe it or not. Okay. James quietly boasts that he can handle Ari and Bert, but Sir Topham Hatt hears this and sends him to do Percy's work at the smelter's yard the next day, much to James's dismay. Damn, you should have whispered a lot more quieter than that, James. Alright, the next day, James initially does not let Ari or Bert get in his way and thinks that he has put them in their place. However, when he prepares to leave with his train, Ari places another one in front of him. Uh-oh. Is it really going to be good, or is it going to be worse? Or is it going to be bad? No, it gets fucking worse. Not wanting to be seen like this, James refuses to move, so Sir Topham Hatt sends Percy to bring him and the trucks to docks. Upon arrival, Percy jokes to the manager that James is learning to be a middle engine, leaving the red engine infuriated and embarrassed as he tries to cover himself in a cloud of steam. Wow, that episode does not look good, as you can listen to what I'm saying around this plot according to the Wikipedia page of the wiki fandom page of Thomas and Friends. Okay, so the trivia about this fucked up episode is that in the US dub, the coaling plant manager has a Bronx accent, and the same singular line "coal cars" is used throughout the episode. This is most noticeable when Percy is approaching a tipper. And the scrap models of Thomas, Gordon, James, Toad, City of Truro, Laurie 2, and one of the Scottish twins are seen. This episode marks several things for Ari and Bert. First, the first time Ari is referred to by name, Bert's first speaking role. The first time when both of them are referred to by name and have speaking roles. There are only speaking roles in the 6th series. Okay, well that's not all. This episode marks the last appearance of Duck's angry face. And this is the 2nd episode where a character says confusion and delay after the 5th series episode of Oliver's Find, but the 4th episode where the phrase is used overall. In that 5th series episode, Cranky Bugs, and the 6th series episode, The World's Strongest Engine, was said by the narrator. CITV repeated this episode on February 28, 2003, alongside the final episode of Ripley and Scuff. Little red piggy in the middle, just like Percy. I am not Percy. I am not a middle engine and I'm not moving. And he didn't. Wow, how aggravating do you think this episode is? Okay, you want to hear the goof about this fucking shit? Sir Topham Hatt should have not blamed Percy for going on the tipper's loading ramp, as the accident was not his fault. He should have blamed Henry since he caused the fucking accident. And likewise, he should have blamed Ari and Bert since they caused the whole accident. Wow. Blind eye playing much, Sir Topham Hatt? Okay, so anyways, how would you feel if someone tells you the truth? I mean, if you tell them the truth but nobody believes it and decide to play the fucking blind eye. Yeah, it makes you feel speechless afterwards, huh? I know Sir Topham Hatt know better than this, but at this point, I'd be better off blaming Sir Topham Hatt for not being sure, because he just jumped into conclusions like a blind bat instead of doing some kind of research to see who were at fault. Yeah, Ari and Bert shouldn't have fucking done that.
Being a middle engine between 2 crates really aggravated the hell out of me while working. It was Ari and Bert's fault that Sir Topham Hatt blamed me for something they did.
I hope Ari and Bert have learned their lessons after Sir Topham Hatt dug up more evidence and proof that Percy is innocent. Why in God's green fuck would they do that to Percy and James?
What a complete massive torture episode that I have ever watched. Those twin diesel shunters gave James and Percy very hard times while they got stuck in between 2 lines of trucks.
After watching this episode, I'd like to send my apologies to Percy and James for not taking my job seriously at this position. Ari and Bert will have good punishments so they can think about what they did. Oliver Hood, and I'd like to apologize to Percy since he told us the truth. We're pencil neck graffiti the wall and frame Percy. No crimes go unpunished, damn it.
So in conclusion, my fellow peeps, if you're a big ass fan of Thomas and Friends and kept on binging by watching every episode, I recommend you skip it if you cannot handle that kind of stress. Yep, that's all I gotta say about that.